You've seen long ones, short ones, flimsy ones, stiff ones, but which one is the best fit for you? Well, today I'm going to answer those questions by taking into consideration your size, stature, experience level, personal goals, and so much more. So that brings us to today's topic, which is, of course, horse training sticks. Now today I'm going to demonstrate 4 different common training sticks that you would find in most tack rooms. And I'm going to demonstrate to you the proper technique to use each one to make the best of your horse training experience. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started on your horsemanship journey, there is something in here for everybody. So let's break it down. I'm Steve Andrews, and this is The Natural Horseman. So before using a training stick, it's good to know why you're using it. There's 3 main reasons I use a training stick. One is to build a horse's confidence while keeping me safe. I have a longer reach. I can build their confidence with touch, with chaos, with noise, with stimulation, with so many things I can prepare them for. The second reason is to communicate effectively. Okay, so I can communicate with a horse using a training stick from in front of their nose, behind their tail, and all the way around them, in all different directions. And the third reason is to really help the horses become lighter to my aids, whether it's a direct pressure, rein pressure, pressure off the bit, pressure off my energy, my body, my balance, all those things I can use a training stick for. Now let's talk about how to use it. There's 3 basic ways that I like to use a stick. The one is just forward and backwards, and I use this for pushing a horse straight forward. Okay, for example, right here I'll push her forward into a turn, and then I'll push her straight forward. I can push a horse backwards, okay? And you can also do backward turns and forward turns using this position. The next position I like to use is just an up and down like this. And that's just gonna ask her to move a part of her body laterally to the side. So if I go up and down towards the hip, I want the hip to move straight away from me like that, okay? I also use these, like we talked about a minute ago, to build a horse's confidence. But usually what that looks like is I start in the down position and I come up towards them to where they can see it, and then I'll make physical contact. You can do this with, you can do this with tarps, flags, many things, but I go from down to up. And once they understand that really well, it can almost become a relaxation cue, if you will. If they start getting a little worked up, you can go, "You're okay," and just offer them some reassurance. So those are the 3 main ways I like to use the stick. So this next stick I'm going to use, it's really short, it's very lightweight, no strings attached. It's easy to switch hands because, without that string, without that extra weight, you can switch underneath your rope very easily without getting tangled up. You can go over the top without getting tangled up. So this is a really handy little stick. Now something like this would be perfect for a smaller statured person, or if you have some weakness in your joints. And also it's great for your close-up work, for teaching and developing your stretching exercises, your warming up exercises. If I'm doing my close-up work and my horse is okay with being touched everywhere, I can touch her everywhere. And it also has enough stiffness to it to where if I need to give her a little push, I can, and she can definitely feel it. Give her a little push forward. I can slow her down from this position. Again, this is all up close, just warming a horse up. It's easy to change hands and switch sides with this horse. So as we roll to her other eye, his stick is very easy to manage. As you get farther away, you lose your reach. So your ability to communicate, if you need it, just really isn't there. You have about your arm's length plus the stick. So say you take a young horse like this one, you may need to teach her forward still. She's not going with your hand cue, and she's farther out. If she doesn't understand to go forward here, then you really don't have much of an option to help your horse out. For my close-up work, for my warm-up exercises, if we want to do half circles, if I want to do tighter circles to calm her down, to get her warmed up, that's better. This stick is perfect for that use. Both of them had their own sins.
down to the river. Every man has felt the shame. All our blood, it runs.
So this next stick you probably see more than the rest of them. It's just a 4-foot stick, and generally the strings attached to them are anywhere from 4 foot to 6 or 7 foot long. And this is just a very basic yet very versatile tool to use, because not only can I pick the string up and have a 4-foot stick attached to the length of my arm, but also I have another 4 to 7 foot attached to it. So I can do fairly close-up work with something like this, and I also can move my horses out quite a bit farther and still have the ability to communicate or build their confidence or whatever else I need to do with them. So let's move her around a little bit and just check out the versatility of this 4-foot training stick. Now, just like the other stick, even though this one's longer, I'm going to use it in the same ways. Okay, I still have my same horizontal, my same vertical positions, my same friendly positions, and then right there, my windshield wiper position. Balance the front, balance the back. Okay. Now you can see with our close-up work, this is longer, so I'm going to have to be careful not to goose my horse or drop my string where I can get tangled up in it. Or if you do want that string down, there's ways of handling your rope and your stick to not get tangled up. I kind of use my string as a tail. Right, I kind of drag it off to the side, right here in the friendly position. And then if I need access to it, I can give my horse a hug with the string or whatever I need to do. Now to switch hands for something like this, I'd actually hook my rope on my handle of my stick and switch underneath. This way I'm not going to get tangled up. And I can go underneath, and now I still have my folds in my opposite hand and my stick in my left hand. No tangles. As she's getting farther and farther out, I can still reach her way out there. Okay, let's change directions here, just so we're not doing everything to the left. But you can see, just going through there's a lot more to manage here. So I can go up and over the top. I can reach the opposite side of her body. And we can start to communicate with her from greater distances. So I can use my windshield wiper or my vertical to step her out to the side. I can drive her back feet towards her nose. And yes, I know, of course, I would definitely use other cues like my balance, like my speed, like my step size, or leading off to ask her to go before I would use this stick. But this video is about training sticks. It's not about all the other cues. So now that we're working in a bigger circle, we have the advantage of still being able to reach her. If my aids weren't working, I could say, well, you do need to drive those back feet towards your nose and go up to that next gate. Okay, there she goes. And I can reach her from pretty far away. I have 10 foot of reach plus the length of my arm. So even here, if I needed to, I could say, you need to drive those back feet forward. There we go. Let's take a look at the next stick. Now this next tool tends to scare a lot of people and scare a lot of horses, but have no fear, I'm going to show you how this thing works. You want to start with the same 3 positions. If you or your horse tend to be a little timid with this flag, what I would do is, you can see she's already going after it. She's obviously done this before. What I would do is take this flag and retreat from your horse with it. Have it up where they can see him to start with, and then just pull it away from them, over your head, and just get to where your horse is okay following this flag and following this commotion around, okay? Then you can start to approach them with it. Again, the down to up. Once they're okay following it, you can go down to up. So you can see the way I use it's the same. It's down to up, whether I'm coming towards her, down to up, whether I'm going away from her, down to up, down to up, down to up. You can add noise, but I'm still going to use that down to up to really build your horse's confidence. And I don't use it to, scare them into running forward. I personally don't like that, because when I'm riding my horse, I don't want them to react to noise when we're out in the woods riding or out in the arena and something goes, whoosh. I don't need that. So I'd rather they be confident with that and relax into that sound. I'll use this the same way I use every other stick. I've got my forward positions here. I've got my friendly positions up and down here. Good girl. Use a forward turn here to get her go forward and around. Use my vertical position for the lateral move. See, it's all the same. I use drive your back feet forward towards your nose for forward. It's all the same. Okay, this last stick we're talking about today is the long lunge whip. And I like to use these for working at a distance. Say if I'm working with a feral horse or a dangerous horse, it allows me to stay safe. I also like to use this for advanced lunging and for liberty work, so when we take off the halter and the rope. Now let's move this horse around and take a look at some advantages and disadvantages of using the long lunge whip. Now first we're going to notice that for a warming up or a stretching work close up, this is not going to be the tool to use. It's way too long and way too easy to get tangled up in all this rope. But what I am going to do is get some distance between myself and this little horse and demonstrate how easy this is to use at a distance. Now one thing I want to point out is I do drag my whip or my training stick in the friendly position. See how it's at an angle? And what this allows me to not do is get tangled up in all my ropes. Okay, so it drags the long-tailed stick right in the dirt, and it keeps it away from my lunge ropes. Now working at a distance like this with this longer stick on this 15-foot lunge line, I can still reach out and touch her if I need to. Okay, so I can use this friendly position we talked about to offer her reassurance. I can also reach out if I need to and encourage her to drive her back feet forward. Say if we want to start working in the lope a little bit, okay? And I can also reach out with this long stick out in front of her nose and see if I can get her to slow down. So for working at a distance, this stick is gold. Another advantage to this stick is not only its length, but it's very lightweight. So this stick is great for your advanced lunging. So let's say you have a long yearling or a 2-year-old, something you're preparing to be ridden not too far down the line. Well, you can really start to teach your horse back from the saddled position how to balance themselves moving forward so they can drive off their back feet, how to balance themselves going backwards so they can learn how to balance and stop, and also how to balance on their back feet so that they can turn. And to balance on their back feet, sometimes we need to drive them forward, sometimes we need to rock them backwards, okay? But with this long stick, we have access to all of those things. So as I move her around and start to teach her to turn, I could reach out to her nose, rock her weight backwards, and see if we can push her into a forward turn, just like we'd want to do when we start to ride her one day. It's really important to do this stuff before you ride your horse, because in those first few rides, they really need to learn how to go forward comfortably, how to stop comfortably, and how to turn comfortably. They really need to understand just those 3 things. So I've done my part teaching you how to use these 4 different tools. It's time for you to do your part and put them to use. So grab your sticks, head outside, and if you need help getting started, check out the description below. I've left 2 links to 2 of my videos called Lunging Your Horse, The Beginner's Guide, and How to Lunge Your Horse. And How to Lunge Your Horse is a little bit more advanced, but it's still essential for everybody to know. So take a few minutes, check those videos out, and head out to the barn to make some awesome horses. Congratulations, you made it all the way through the video. That proves to both of us that you are dedicated to your own self-improvement, and you're somebody that I'd like to connect with. So do me a favor and leave a comment down below that says made it, and of course feel free to add to that comment if you'd like, with questions or comments. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. I'll see you next time.